Hi, and welcome to today's episode of From the Syllabus. I'm going to be talking to you about the class blog. I am Lee Hall, and I am an Associate Professor of Literacy Studies at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. All right, so I've written extensively about the purposes of using a class blog on my website, but I'm going to highlight a few things here for you. I love having students blog in class, and I've done it two ways. I've done it with an entire class blogging together on a shared blog, and I've done it with individual students having their own individual blogs. And I think my favorite method is going to be the shared blog, and that's what I'm going to be moving towards for all my classes in the future where we do this. So why do you want to consider having a class blog? First, conversations happen beyond the class, right? A class blog lets students keep reading each other's work and talking to each other between sessions, right? If you meet every week, or if you're in a hybrid kind of a situation, this is a great way to keep interactions going. Of course, if you're online, it'll also work for the same purpose. It's just that you don't necessarily have these more formalized meetings. As an instructor, I learn a great deal about what my students are thinking and questions that they have. I find that these blog posts are really a window into their thinking, and it's a way to really get up close and personal with my students in ways that they just probably aren't going to happen in class, because we simply just don't have that kind of time, and class just doesn't afford that kind of opportunity, right? I find that classes are better, okay? So what I'm able to do with blog posts is I can read students' blog posts, and I can see what are some things that students are struggling with. What are the issues that are really critical to them? What are questions that are critical to them? I can put those into my class. It might not be the very next session. It might be a week or two. It might be a couple weeks down the road, but I use what they write to inform what goes on in class, which could mean what we make in class, what we do in class. It could mean changing assignments and creating new ones as options, right, based on what they're struggling with. And then finally, what I really love most about class blogs is that knowledge becomes public, right? We're no longer having conversations just between student and teacher, but now we're having conversations also from student to student, from colleague to colleague, but then also my students end up with audiences from around the world that read their writing and that interact with them, right? It makes our learning so much more richer and authentic. It introduces my students to new people that they otherwise might not have connected with, and it broadens their professional learning network, which is just fantastic. So what are the requirements? I've listed off here what it is that I ask students to do. One of the things that I think is particularly helpful, you can do this, of course, however you want. Usually we have 13 weeks in a semester where we can blog, and that accounts for usually having a week, could be 2 weeks, where I have to teach them the skill set that they need to get them up and running. So I ask them to blog once a week for 10 weeks, and I tell them that the other 3 weeks they can take off whenever and however they want. I don't allow makeups. This was something that I struggled with because I didn't want students coming to me and saying, well, I can't blog. Here are the reasons why I can't blog, or here are the reasons why I didn't blog for a month. Will you let me write a bunch of posts this week? Because that's not the purpose of blogging, right? You want students to be engaged and sustaining engagement over time. So no, you can't do makeups. You can decide. I put the power right back in the students' hands. Here's what you need to do if you're going to get an A on this assignment. You make the decisions about when you do and do not blog, okay? And barring extenuating circumstances, we're not making up blogs. And then the other thing that I want to highlight here is this point about posts being 500 to 1,500 words. That seems like quite a spread, but from what I can determine, this is really the acceptable range of blog posts, okay? Anything less than 500 words, you're probably not developing your ideas fully as you could. Anything more than 1,500 words, probably too long. People are going to stop reading, probably need to split it up into a second blog post, all right? If you have your students blogging as a class on a class blog, I make an Excel spreadsheet that shows all the weeks. I define the weeks for my students. I give them the dates, like week 1 is from November 1st through November 7th. Week 2 is from November 8th, right? And on from there, however you want to set it up. And then I put up times, and they have to go in and sign up. When is your post going to go, right? So that we're not having one student post at 1 o'clock and the next student post at 1:05. We want time between posts. And if you use WordPress, you know that students can write the post at any time, and then they just schedule it when it wants to go live. And then commenting, you can see what I have them do there. I think the thing that I like about this is they have to leave comments on 2 posts a week, and one of them has to be somebody in class and one of them has to be somebody outside of class, so that again they are exposing themselves to different people and different ideas. And I make a worksheet for them, right, where I've again it has the weeks that we are blogging, and I just ask them to leave a link, right? And I spot check that. I don't read everything critically, but I do spot check it. So, and that's on them to fill in the worksheet. It's not on me. It's not on you as the instructor to go hunt down all the comments. It's on your students to copy and paste a link into a worksheet to show you where they left their comments. All right, so what I have found is that students are really able to navigate WordPress very easily. They might start off a little shaky or unsure about themselves. They might have low confidence in the beginning, but they can do it. I really haven't had any significant issues from this outside of what I would see as students just having a low confidence and being nervous in the beginning. Excuse me. And then for the instructor, this is going to require some organization on the front end, a little bit more work up front before the class starts, but then it really runs itself. If I could give you one piece of advice, I would say, besides spending time on that organizational piece, don't worry about commenting on everybody's posts, right? Don't worry about commenting on everything everyone writes. Comment on things that you think are worthy of a comment, right? That strike you, that inspire you, that leave you with questions, just like you would for anything else. And sometimes I purposely don't respond right away because I don't always want to be the first person responding to a post. Sometimes I'll come back later after some students have responded to a post and then add my own thoughts because I don't always want to be the teacher stepping in and talking first. Excuse me. All right, so if you have questions, you can email me. I've got 2 email addresses here for you. You can also find my blog, leahall.wordpress.com. And there's a sample blog right there, thepoliticsofreading.wordpress.com, if you'd like to see a class blog that is run by undergraduate students at the University of North Carolina.